with, with Sherry Loretano. Would you please say the pledge and the prayer? Stay standing.
Dear Lord, we ask your guidance in these troubled times throughout this country and this world, that we can seek freedom and we can seek your protection wherever we are. We ask that you give us guidance for our daily lives and to help this council and the city make wise decisions. We also ask that you protect those that protect us here at home and abroad, and hope they all come home safely to their loved ones, or they return for work every day safely to be with their loved ones. Amen.
Would you please be seated, and the rest of us will stand here a moment. And the clerk, could we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Sousa. Here. Councilmember Osborne. Here. Vice Mayor Pizzillo. Here. Councilmember Loretano. Here. Councilmember Campbell. Here. Mayor Lord.
Here.
All present.
Thank you. Now, under communications, first of all, we do not have any expenditures to ratify, so we're going to start under communications. And again, I know this is highly unusual, but we have this absolutely fantastic young group with us today on Earth Day. And Sandra Healy, it's over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayor. This year marks the 40th anniversary of Earth Day, and the City of Goodyear's recognition of Earth Day signifies our active role in controlling climate change. Goodyear has taken important steps to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, save energy, and save money. Our efforts have included ASU School of Sustainability intern Chris Foldish, who has proposed a model for Goodyear to use to organize and maintain sustainability efforts, and which, if implemented in Goodyear, would significantly further the program. Goodyear assesses the costs and benefits of various initiatives, carefully balancing stewardship of citizen funds with care for the environment. We recognize future quality of life for our Goodyear citizens depends in part on having a clean city, a secure water supply, and fresh air. These sentiments are echoed in the letters of 20 civic-minded citizens from Wildflower Elementary School committed to making a difference. They wrote to the Mayor of Goodyear strongly encouraging the city to recycle, and we have a group of those citizens here with us today. I am thrilled to present Miss Ryan Miller's second grade class to share their thoughts on recycling.
Not long ago in the little town of Goodyear, there were two rival schools. Wildflower School was a wonderful school full of
was amazing. We have a very special guest here today to meet you guys. This is Goodyear's award-winning recycling campaign mascot, Kirby. He represents recycling in the city of Goodyear, and he is going to go outside with you guys and give you some extra special treats for coming out with us today. Thank you very much. I'd like to give the mayor an opportunity to say a few words.
Well, we thank you so much. That was a lot of hard work, wasn't it? It's a lot of reading, and I bet you spent days working on this. We are so proud of you, and we know that you care about our environment, and that's really important. So thank you so much today, because I know, were you nervous at all coming up here to read? No? Were you just kind of, so you kind of see what a council meeting's like, and maybe you'll be one of our future council persons someday? I don't know. But I do know that our earth is going to be better because of the effort you've made and the direction you've given all of us. And I'm going to remember that I need to write on both sides of the piece of paper before I throw it away. And I'm taking that with me tonight and be very serious about that. Thank you very much.
This again is Wildflowers, second grade. This is Miss Miller. Miss Ryan Miller is the teacher of this class. Thank you all very much. Thank you for the change in the agenda.
Just to go to the next presentation. Are we going up there? No, we're staying right down here. Okay. Okay.
But we're on the right next now, right?
Yeah. Not ready? We're just going to continue on the... It's not on. It's not? We're going to continue on the presentations, and the next one is the City of Goodyear Park and Ride Express Ridership. Luke Albert, traffic engineer.
That's not him.
Oh, you changed. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's not his presentation.
No.
Oh, it's not his. I didn't look. It's not his.
Eddie, we need a new presentation put up there?
I think this is just going to be one of those evenings. So we all have to contend with it.
There you go.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Tonight, I'd like to speak to you briefly about the express bus ridership of the Park and Ride and the results of a survey that was conducted by Valley Metro. The Route 562 express bus service is funded by the the Maricopa County half-cent sales tax. The facility is operated by the City of Goodyear, and the bus service is operated by Valley Metro. In addition to the City of Goodyear Park and Ride bus stop, there's also stops at First Ave and Van Buren Street downtown and 17th Avenue and Jefferson Street downtown. And there's 3 inbound trips in the morning at 5:56 a.m., 6:30 a.m., 6:55 a.m., and then there's 3 outbound trips in the afternoon, one at 4:15 p.m., one at 4:50 p.m., and one at 5:20 p.m. This slide shows the ridership on the AM buses to downtown in the morning. The blue line represents the first bus in the morning. The red line represents the 6:30 a.m. bus, and the green line represents the last bus in the morning. And that solid black line across the screen represents the full seating capacity of a bus. So everybody above that solid black line would be somebody standing on the bus. the first bus to the third bus, there's an increase in ridership, with mostly all the third bus in the morning having people standing on the bus. This next slide shows the afternoon ridership, with the blue line being the first bus to Goodyear, the red line being the second bus, and the green line being the third bus. And the first bus has the most riders, and it decreases as you get to the third bus. And as you can see also, in that first bus out of downtown, most of the buses have people standing on those buses as well. Valley Metro conducted a survey the week of January 24th through January 28th of the riders. They distributed surveys to all the riders of the buses. There were 68 responses to the survey, 40 from Goodyear residents, and then 28 that varied from residents of Avondale, Litchfield Park, Buckeye, and Towson. The primary feedback on the survey was that people would like to see larger buses and or more buses. There was also some people requesting changes in departure times that better fit their schedules. And there was also some compliments on the facility and also the service provided by Valley Metro. Valley Metro takes the results of all the surveys throughout the valley and looks at available resources and determines, how they need to make adjustments, based on those survey results. Overall, as you can see, there's a good ridership. It's a very successful park and ride so far, and overall, people seem pleased with the service. With that, I'd like to open up for any questions.
Questions?
How big is the bus? Each bus? Are they the same size? Or?
They're all the same size. There's 36 seats on each bus, and
So that's a smaller bus.
yeah, it's a smaller bus. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thanks.
So what is the typical waiting then? If they're requesting a larger bus, does that mean we leave people standing to the next bus? Or
I mean, there was one time where one person could not get on a bus, but that's the only time somebody, to my knowledge, has been turned away. Other than that, everybody's been able to get on the bus, but it'd be people, people standing on.
Sure, I'm sure that was frustrating for him.
Yeah, I'm sure that, and Valley Metro is good about addressing customer service concerns.
Good.
Just real quick on the standing on the bus. I'm trying to get a visual. How many people would be standing, and how about it from a safety standpoint, from the distance they're traveling? Does that create a problem?
They have rules about that. Like how many people can stand. There's that yellow line that people can't stand in front of. They monitor based on the rules they're governed by about the standing and safety and so forth. But you can get up. I think we've had almost 60 people on the bus, so I guess 20 close to 23, 24 standing, I guess.
And this bus is heading down to Phoenix, right?
Yes, sir.
So
Wow.
it just seems a lot from a safety standpoint, standing on a bus that's traveling that distance.
How many people does a larger bus hold?
I had to get that answer for you. We can certainly answer that question for you.
Any other questions?
Is there any movement to get us a bigger bus? I mean, I really am very uncomfortable to know that even 20 people stand for 45 minutes driving in the traffic. I mean, that's not quite a good bus service, I don't think. I mean, people want to sit.
Councilmember Campbell and members of the mayor, Councilmember Campbell, members of the council, we certainly share feedback and concerns with Valley Metro, and at this time, their resources are limited, just like everybody else's is. So we'll certainly
I'm
share
curious,
feedback.
how many other cities have that size of bus going out to them in the metro area? I mean, we're not the
there's-
only city that. So, what size is Avondale's bus? Or
We can look into that and provide that
it'd be
information
interesting to
everybody.
know that our West Valley cities, what size of buses they're
Yes, ma'am,
using
Mayor,
compared to ours.
We can certainly look into that and
I
provide
appreciate that.
information to everybody about that.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Any other questions?
No, just concerned about the safety and liability issues if there's that many people standing, that's going downtown. So,
Absolutely. We can do some, Mayor and members of the council will certainly do some research and share that with everybody.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next on the program will be the Recreation Program Numbers Update by Jennifer Campbell, Recreations and Aquatic Superintendent.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for letting me present some updates on some of our recreation numbers for Parks and Recreation. A couple of programs, actually we're doing really well right now, and actually we did really well in 2010, and we're showing really strong numbers for 2011. Just a couple programs that I want to point out. Our fall baseball, which we hold in the fall, went from 247 participants to 277, which was an 11% increase. Our Little League went from 451 to 502, which is a 10% increase. The participation in senior trips and adult classes rose from 994 participants to 1,081, which is an 8% increase. In 2010, we have served 13,344 participants. Now, these are participants that are actually registered in a program or are at the events where we count attendance. So it's not people coming to visit the park open-ended. It's also not spectators that come to watch all the children's games or even the adult softball games as well. We did start 2 new leagues this year. We really wanted to focus on girls sports. We felt that we were a little bit lacking. So we did start girls volleyball. We started in the fall and the spring, and we had 191 girls in both leagues, and actually, again, getting a great response. Also, currently at this time, our residency, we serve about 70% residents, 30% non, and of course we do charge non-residents a higher fee than we do Goodyear residents. We also give preferential registration for Goodyear residents as well. And at this time right now, last year, we were up $29,000 from where we were last year. So we're very happy that also with our participation, our revenue is increasing as well. A lot of this is due to our partnerships. We know that it's very important to partner with people to get things done, so I wanted to recognize a couple partners that we use as well to provide programs. The first is Joanne was very instrumental in helping with the Rec Round Table, which was established back in '08. That is still going very strong, and we have about 10 to 12 organizations that are still part of that. I want to recognize Jesse Smith and Far West Football. They actually provide officials for our flag football program, which again had steady numbers. We had 305 participants this year, and what they do is they provide officiating for us at no cost, and in return we give them field allocation. So it's a great thing, so we don't have to spend that money for actual officials or staff to do that. We also have Little League, which is going on its 7th season here in Goodyear. And Georgia, thank you very much for Miss Mayor coming out and doing the first pitch. She did a wonderful job. And
It was sort of a wimpy pitch. I did my very best.
And we did have Sherry and Wally out there as well. Thank you. Little League, though, 7th season, and Jeff Barr's our president. We also want to recognize Christina Campbell and the YMCA. We do community swim days with them as well as events for the public utilizing the large pool that they have. Also, Goodyear in Action and Jen Barber, we've partnered on the Follow in Action Day, and also they hold their Goodyear in Action Day at our park, which is their big get-together for the year that kind of culminates, so that's wonderful. Also, we are partnering with the Avondale School District to partner on facilities for our programs, such as our summer rec program, some of our classes, and our sports as well. Also this year, we've implemented, due to our partnerships, we've implemented in 2010 a youth scholarship program, which obviously, due to the economy, there was a need for people to have some financial assistance. So far through that program in 2010, we served 170 participants. And the money for that came from the Cincinnati Reds, Southwest Ambulance, Walmart, and Pebble Creek Softball. So we thank them very much for all of their donations that make that program possible. Last, just wanted to talk a little bit about the fact that although numbers are up, we actually are getting more and more requests from different organizations to use our fields, and also expanding any of our programs is difficult for the fact that we do have to partner with the school district for their indoor facilities, and again, they can be very limited due to some of their activities that they have going on in the schools. And two, the number of fields we have actually are used almost all the time, so we are actually turning away many organizations that do provide other sports that we don't, because we've really tried to get into the market of providing sports that not as many other organizations provide, but we're turning a lot of people away as far as rental, which is revenue as well, because our field rentals and Ramada rentals are also going up in revenue as well. So just wanted to point that out, that again, recreation, there's a great need, and we are actually turning people away from being able to use fields and facilities because we just don't have that as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Any questions? Discussion? Thank you.
Thank you.
The next on the agenda is a public safety telecommunication proclamation, but before I do that, I just thought this was really interesting. We have 17 people, okay, that work on the Goodyear Telecommunication Division. We have 12 telecommunication operators, 4 supervisors, 1 manager. Now, these 17 people in 2010 handled 23,460 911 calls, 82,079 non-emergency calls, and 85,212 calls for service dispatch. Now, I would say that's a bunch of hard-working employees. And so So, as we talk about compensation, it tells me that our people really work hard, all right? So just consider that. And so I'll now read the proclamation. I can sit as I do this. Public Safety Telecommunication Week, April 11th through the 17th of 2011. Whereas each day, public safety communicators answer desperate calls for help and respond with cool-headed professionalism. And whereas their knowledge and ability to make critical decisions in crisis situations saves lives and property in Goodyear every day. And whereas these individuals are faceless to us on the phone, yet they are so much more than voices on a telephone. They are the unseen first responders in emergency situations. And whereas each of these dedicated men and women, they deserve a heartfelt appreciation and sincere respect. And whereas we place trust in these individuals, not just this week, but every minute of every day of the year. This week is a time for Goodyear to honor and recognize that our health, safety, and well-being are often dependent on the commitment and steadfast devotion of public safety communicators. Therefore, I, Georgia Lord, Mayor of Goodyear, here declare April 11th through the 17th, 2011, as the Public Safety Communicators Week, given under my hand in these free United States, yes, this free United States in the city of Goodyear, on the 14th day of March 2011, and to which I have caused the seal of the city of Goodyear to be affixed and have made this proclamation public. I'm sorry, the council would love to shake your hand.
Yes,
It's
we
not
would.
just- It's just not me, Come back up. We do this so often, and listen, I'm just standing at the head of the table, but all of these people are involved. You just have to remind me. Okay, where are we now? So this is just a second. Next on the agenda is the Volunteer Week proclamation. Volunteer Appreciation Week proclamation, April 10th to the 16th, 2011. Whereas the City of Goodyear adopted the volunteer program in 2007. Whereas Goodyear citizens have given their time, talents, and hearts to serve the City of Goodyear. And whereas since July 1st, 2007, our volunteers have contributed more than 33,000 hours. I'm going to repeat that, 43,000 hours to the city. Whereas our volunteers have contributed a savings of nearly $800,000 for the city. And whereas the giving of oneself in service to another empowers the giver and the recipient. And whereas volunteer service is a cornerstone of our democracy and is crucial to these challenging times. Whereas the duty of every citizen and leader to honor our dedicated volunteers and celebrate the volunteer programs that contribute to the quality of life in Goodyear and our surrounding communities. Now, therefore, I, Georgia Lord, Mayor of Goodyear, do hereby proclaim the week of April 10th through the 16th, 2011, as Volunteer Appreciation Week in the city of Goodyear, and urge all citizens to join me as we recognize these special individuals. And do we have any volunteers here representing it?
Of the 23,000?
The 23,000, or one of the 23,000?
I used to be.
Oh. Well, I shall give this to John, or how do you want us to do? So you'll be taking care of that?
Well, actually, isn't Thursday the Volunteer Appreciation Dinner?
Well, why don't
So,
we
yeah.
why don't we do that there?
Yeah.
Actually, we probably should have read that there instead of here.
Probably should.
Okay, all right. All right, so let's get on with the meeting here.
That's good. Okay.
Okay.
No, we're not going to forget you.
No, so, now we're going to start this. Citizens of comments, where are we? Oh, I'm sorry, I missed someone. Paula, why is it? Sorry that, Paula. Centennial Parade with Avondale. Paula, I apologize.
Okay, I'm going to be brief. I'm representing the Centennial Committee again. And besides restoring the train depot, they would really like to have a Centennial Parade. Sherilyn Holman, who's on our committee, is also on Avondale Centennial Committee. And so when we started talking about a parade, she said, well, they're talking about a parade too. So she talked to them, and they are willing to go in and do a parade together rather than both of us do separate parades. So we met with the Avondale staff, and we looked at different parade routes. And we also talked to a parade consultant to talk about what it would take to get this done. The date is set now for Saturday, February 11th, 2012, which is 3 days before the Tuesday actual centennial. And we looked at parade routes, the usual Western Avenue, which they did really more days on, and we considered Van Buren, and we also looked at Thomas Road. And we all really liked Thomas Road because we would impact a lot less businesses than on the other two streets. And the north side is Avondale, the south side is Goodyear. We also, by the way, approached Litchfield Park and asked if they'd like to join, and they, at this point, looked preliminarily like they don't really want to be in on the planning of the parade, but we might be able to get them in the parade. So one of the other ways that this is good for us, if Avondale goes along and would choose the good Thomas Avenue route as well, is that we could end near our park. And there's good staging areas in the beginning and at the end. And our committee also wanted, again, try to have a fundraiser of some sort, like a barbecue or something again, in the park, because we're always raising money to try to restore the train station. And that's going to take a lot of money. We're going to be doing that for years. So Avondale staff is talking to their council tonight as well. It's their budget meeting, and they're talking about a budget for the Centennial Committee, and we have put $25,000 into our next year's budget for this, and it's based upon Avondale's past costs of $40,000 to $50,000 to put on a parade. We need to hire a coordinator because none of us have the staff to do it, or no help to do it. And they would solicit entries and help judge, and cities have to pay for police to close the roads for quite a while, sanitation to clean up after parade, very messy, and the streets department. So it takes a lot for our departments to put on a parade as well. And our city's never put one on that I know of. The 50th.
Yeah.
I don't think we had a parade then. So, they're very excited about it, and, hopefully we will be pulling this off.
Very good. Any comments?
Oh, I'm thrilled.
You're thrilled?
I'm thrilled. And as a fourth generation, this centennial means so many things to different people for different reasons. And I'm just one of those that, over 100 years of having a family member in Arizona, it means a lot to me. So I really appreciate the hard work you guys are doing. You all are.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paula.
Thank you.
If we're all ready, I'll go on to the next, with your permission. Do we have any, oh, we do, all right. All right.
The first one is Joe Husband.
I think I need to read this first. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. Before you begin to speak, identify yourself clearly, stating for the record your name and address.
Hi, ma'am. Would you like me to go over here where the little lights are?
Oh, no, you could stand right there. We'll raise our hand when, or we'll do something. Someone will do, we'll give you across the throat cut here. We'll get you.
No, I'm used to it. Joe Husband, representing the Phoenix Goodyear Airport, 1658 South Litchfield Road, Goodyear, Arizona 85338. And Madam Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of the council, Mr. Fischbach, staff, and guests, it's my great honor to come before you today. I've been 8 months currently on the assignment to Phoenix Goodyear Airport, and I'm work for the city of Phoenix, of course, and I'm a veteran of about 20 years of city service. I wanted to take a moment of your time to comment on my experiences with city staff. And as you know, people, when they have an issue or a problem, they're never shy about bringing that to your attention or to anyone's attention. And I think it ought to be the same with someone who has something good to say. And I regularly and frequently interact with the police department, the fire department, public works, planning, development services, streets, engineering, the manager's office. And last but certainly not least, the economic development team. We work quite a bit together. Paula, Harry, and Paul, we have a great opportunity to interact in trying to bring jobs and economic vitality through the airport to the city of Goodyear. So I just wanted to take a moment and let you know how much I have appreciated and enjoy the interaction. I've been treated most professionally and courteously. And I get great responses. I sort of, like I said, it's an interesting experience for me to work for the city of Phoenix, but wholly surrounded and dependent on collaboration with the city of Goodyear. And I wanted you guys and all of you all to know how much I appreciate that relationship that we have. So on behalf of Phoenix Goodyear Airport, I'd like to express our deepest appreciation for your staff, and also just reaffirm our commitment to the partnership with the city of Goodyear and the entire West Valley community. So,
Thank you so much.
Janet Kirschbaum.
My name is Janet Kirschbaum. My office is at 14140 West McDowell Road, Goodyear, Arizona. And Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, and staff. First, I'm proud of the whole council. But I am here for a problem, unlike that gentleman. I'm here tonight seeking clarification, and you'll understand why I'm reading this. In connection with a letter I received at 4:41 p.m. today from our landlord at Palm Valley La Piazza Center. As you know, construction is underway to build a school on the same property where our office is located. We have a lease with our landlord for our office space for approximately 4 more years. The letter we received today from a lawyer representing the landlord indicates that we must vacate our office space for structural work to be performed on the property starting May 2nd till May 8th, with radiation, falling objects, falling beams. The letter states this work is being done at the request of the city of Goodyear. It is our impression that this work is being done in connection with improvements to the property for the new tenants and has nothing to do with the structural integrity of our office or our safety. I would appreciate clarification from the council with respect to this request from our landlord, for we have a contractual right to our office space and are concerned that the landlord is using tactics to pressure us to vacate our office prior to the end of our lease term. We are also concerned that the landlord might have made representations to the council when receiving certain building permits that we were no longer going to be occupying the office space or the property, on the property. However, we have and had and continue to have a lease that covers the next 4 years, and there was never any agreement or material discussion that we would be moving from our office prior to the end of the lease. As an accounting practice, we hope you can appreciate that this is the busiest time of the year for us and are troubled by this approach, tactics, and lack of veracity by the owner of our property.
Thank you very much for that presentation. John?
Yeah.
That statement.
His letter?
That statement.
Oh, sure. It's, pardon my mess. I didn't,
We'll follow up with.
All right, I appreciate that.
okay. Thank you.
So follow-up meeting, next meeting, you'll contact her?
I will
You
contact her
contact
before that, but we'll let you know what happens.
All right. Thank you for coming this evening.
Thank you.
As you see, 441, I got that, so.
Wow, that's pretty fast, thank you. Okay, so we'll start with the agenda. If the city clerk will read the consent agenda, please, by title only.
Item A, approve draft minutes of a regular meeting held on March 14, 2011. Item B, accept the dedication of right-of-way and a public utility easement by MTR Capital Group, LLC, and Nevada Limited Liability Company, and Daniel Foster and Eva Foster, husband and wife, for a portion of the east side of Saraville Avenue, approximately 1,095 feet north of Van Buren Street. Item C, accept the quitclaim deed dedicating tract M of Goodyear Plains Regional Center Parcel 10. This is a 13.742 acre parcel of land located south of Thomas Road within the Bullard Wash alignment, which has been developed as a park. Item D, adopt resolution 11-1424 to ratify the grant proposal submitted to the Governor's Office of Highway Safety and authorize the city manager or his designee to execute any and all documents for the award and administration of the grant. Item E, adopt resolution 11-1425, entering into a 3-year cooperative agreement with Maricopa County regarding participation in the Urban County Community Development Block Grant Program. Item F, authorize the city manager to renew the lease agreement and execute all related documents with Tri-Cal Commercial Investments, LLC, for the use of Suite 185 at the Goodyear Financial Center to continue to be used as a temporary library. And item G, authorize the city manager to execute all documents necessary for the city of Goodyear to extend the lease for parking and office space in buildings E, B, and D located at 175, 185, and 195 North 145th Avenue, Goodyear, Arizona, known as the Bonita Business Park, through May 31st, 2015.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to remove a consent item for discussion? Is there anyone in the council that would like to remove an item for discussion?
I got just a couple questions.
Just a couple, so not to remove it, just to discuss it?
F and G, a couple questions.
Okay,
And
all
I
right.
do on C and G.
F and G, just questions or removal?
Well, let's start with questions, I think.
All right, so should we start with C?
My question on C, this has to do with Goodyear accepting the Rio Paseo Park. And I noticed that in the communication that part of it was not only the park itself, but it was supposed to have a tot lot and different amenities. Has that taken place? Are those all built in, or are we just talking about landscaped land that we're going to have to build a park for?
Linda?
I mean, I also noticed that.
Could you wait until you get to the microphone, please?
My name is Linda Beals. I'm the real estate coordinator for the city. My understanding is those are all coordinated into the lake area. Everything that was part of that development.
Well, I don't think so. What I read was that, let me find it, was that it was supposed to, let's see, landscape, open space, retention, tot lot, park recreational amenities, stormwater filtration, boulder wash, irrigation, tailwater line, access and maintenance. That was supposed to be dedicated to the city.
Right.
Along with that we're losing a bunch of tax money, I guess, from, it's a bankrupt.
No, what's happened was, let me explain this a little better. Those are the uses that are allowed as part of that plat. What happened is, when that plat was dedicated to the city, the tax assessor did not understand that that property was to be dedicated per the development agreement and per the plat to the city of Goodyear. That left it in a kind of a confused state. The tax assessor placed it as a taxable item on the tax rolls and started generating tax bills. Essentially what was happening is it was getting ready to go to sheriff's sale. And we were notified of that, and as part of that, we went back to the developer and said, we went both to the tax assessor. First I went to the tax assessor and said, this property was supposed to have been dedicated to us, and if you read the plat, that's the intention of the plat. I got the tax assessor to agree to that, and they went ahead, waived all the taxes that should never have been charged because it should have been dedicated to us with that plat. But for safety's sake, I went back to the developer and also got a quitclaim deed in case there was any chance that that plat didn't entirely do its job. So really what this is a cleanup item in that there maybe the language on the plat wasn't as clear as it could have been, or just some confusion with the assessor. It was always the intention that this property would have been deeded to the property. I think it was back in 2006 or 7. Look at the plat.
Well, okay, just reading, the intention was that it was going to have these amenities. And that's why, so it says back in 03, the city.
I needed to look at that 03.
Yeah, the final plat approved by council May 27th, 03 is being dedicated to the city for landscape, open space, it sounds like the landscape, open space retention has probably been taken care of. I'm just wondering if the developer has gotten away with not having to finish some of these things.
I don't believe that's the case. I believe those are the approved uses per the plat.
Well, you know, when we see plats, we require a developer to take care of some of these open spaces, that it's not just water retention, that there are tot lots, and that's stated here.
On the flip side, we also have a developer that's gone bankrupt in
I know,
college,
that's the
Yeah, that's what I was just going to mention. It is
right.
bankrupt.
Do we even
So
have any recourse to get
No,
that tot
there
lot
were
or
a
any
couple of
those
other
things?
minor items that we were trying to resolve, and that developer is gone, completely bankrupt.
Yes,
And no, but
yeah.
we were really thrilled to get the deed out of the bankruptcy court.
yeah, we have no avenue there on
Okay.
that. Okay?
Thank you.
Good. How about F?
The question I have on F is on the lease for the library. Is there any chance, I know we have some development fees. Oh, go ahead, I'll wait till you get up here. I know we have some library development fees, and I know we had talked about in the past and maybe trying to expand our library, and that building seems to have some open spaces. Is there any opportunity to maybe expand our library a little bit with some of the development fees that, you know, that doesn't cost us much, but kind of makes it a little larger? I mean, we're in a corner of a building there with our library, and it seems to get quite a bit of use. And I'm just kind of throwing that out right now to, you know, of all the things we spend on, we got the ballpark, we got a variety of other things, and we got the library in the corner, you know, small area, and I know it gets used quite a bit. And can we take some of the opportunity to at least expand on our library? That's kind of my question.
Councilman Pizzillo, Mark Flynn from Public Works. We've actually explored a couple of other opportunities. We looked at some different locations where a temporary library could be located while the planning related to the library associated with the city center continues to evolve. One of the values, one of the true values in the library in that space in Suite 185 is not a fully operable external entrance, but essentially an independent entrance that allows you to gain into that space without necessarily getting in to the rest of the building itself. If we were to work with TriCal, the owner of that facility, we'd be looking at some modifications, some structural modification of that building in order to either incorporate some additional suites, to attach that to Suite 185, or to reorient that internal locking mechanism, that door system that prevents access into the rest of the building. I'll be honest, we haven't explored that with any great veracity. We were looking at other locations in the city where that could potentially be an option.
Yeah, and I just think, I know we have some money in the impact fees, and I'm not sure to what degree we can use it, but of all the services, that seems to be one of the higher ones on the citizens list is the library. And, I just think personally, if there's a way we can figure out how to get that to happen, or at least expand a little bit,
What would do-
I didn't think we
Councilman.
could use those fees. I thought we couldn't use those fees. I thought I just had a discussion on that.
Mayor, members of the council, you can use those for capital, but you can't
Not-
use them for the
that's
lease
right.
charges. So I think you'd have limitations. You might be able to use them for some equipment or supplies.
How about tenant improvements? Could we use them for that?
I thought we checked that out, and I thought it was no.
I don't think you can on a lease
Okay.
space.
No.
I would just like to see, I know that seems to be a top thing with our citizens of the library, and, I see the money we spend on other things, in the recreation area, and I just look at our library and think, at some point, I would like to see, a library.
We'll take a look at that, Joe, in the meantime, though, and see what there is that we can do possibly.
Are all the questions satisfied?
That's F. Go ahead, you can start, G.
The question I have on G is, I was trying to go through some of the detail in the contracts. If for some reason we needed to another building, or are we locked into this through was it 2015? Is there some buyouts or some ways in which, if for some reason the economy turns around, another location where we're expanding from city offices, are we locked in here with major penalties or anything along those lines?
The term of this lease was chosen as a 4-year window with the idea that it would be tied to the planned development of the city center office complex, as well as the city center library location. That was the reason that 4-year term was mutually agreed upon between the owner of the property and the city.
So I guess what I mean is 4 years is 4 years. I mean, if it happened in 3, we're still on the hook for another year then.
We would be in the case of this component now, but the time frame was chosen based upon some targeted development and design work would need to occur, and then construction of the building. If we were to start today, I don't want to speak on behalf of engineering and the like, but I believe the planned construction window is about a 24-month window of construction, and there would need to be refinement to the design. So we were looking at a time frame that would be mutually beneficial to both parties.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, Mayor?
Yes.
So the renewals, again, will be for 4 years?
In the case of the Veneta complex, yes, sir. Both the library and the Veneta complex were targeted at 4 years in connection to the city center development.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, one
Yes,
more-
Joanne?
we didn't get to this part in the work session, was talking about the CIP, and going forward, I guess on the flip side, do we feel confident that in 4 years, we're going to have a new building to move into? And I guess that's my question, because at that point, we've been here 8 years, and, in the past, there's been the discussion of the building that's right next to City Hall, what available spaces in there, should we have, that's all past, should we have purchased that building, should we have purchased this building? I mean, that's all, in the past, but moving forward, since we didn't get to talk about the finances, we're not going to be seeing in 4 years another 3-year lease on top of this. Are you feeling optimistic, I guess, because we didn't get to talk about those numbers? And I'd hate to see us putting in another.
I personally don't feel optimistic that we will be ready to move into a new building in 4 years.
So why then, now, I would imagine the money that's been invested in this building with the tenant improvements, I don't know what that figure is, but I'm sure it was an investment. If we're looking at 5 years down the line, does it make sense to either have a longer lease, or does it make sense to be looking at the building next to us over, I'm putting it out there. I don't know the figures, but.
We have looked at the building next to us over there, and the costs are out of line.
They're out of line. Okay.
Yes.
Is the
The Goodyear
square?
Financial Center?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Is the square footage comparable to what we have here?
In this building alone, no, it's a lot bigger.
In the Veneta complex in its entirety, the three buildings that the city is currently leasing from the Cornwall Corporation, it's a little less than 55,000 square feet. The buildings, the IOB, 190, I won't swear to my addresses there, but what we know currently is City Hall right now is about 35,000 square feet, and the building just to the north of us there is about 43 or 45,000 square feet.
So, okay. Does it make sense to have a longer lease? Would it be cheaper? Would it doesn't make any sense? That's what I'm saying.
May I interrupt here? Was this part of the discussion we were thinking about for the retreat? Did we have this on the
I
agenda?
mean, we can, but
But you got it.
it wasn't on the, I don't think it was on the
Okay.
retreat, though. So.
Sorry, George.
When,
The renewal will be up in about another 1 month period.
Yeah, well, we have to do this. We don't have any choices, but
I know that, we shouldn't talk about this in public, but I know that Cornwall isn't exactly the cheapest lease here. I mean, the space that we have here,
Well, it's expensive. It's $15 and something a square foot, and it's built 2% more every year.
There is an escalation factor that was negotiated down as a function of the term of the lease. But I would comment that I think our numbers in this lease agreement are very good given market conditions.
Yeah, but I just hate to pay that much money a month to rent a building, and we don't have anything to show for it, other than we're here.
we
but I-
could have bought this years ago.
I don't. If we had known this at the time, we did. But circumstances have changed. None of us had a crystal ball. We didn't know the economy was going to fall like this. We all had the best intentions. We can talk about the past and we can, say, "Oh, woe is me." It's not going to change anything. It happened. It is what it is, and we just need to progress on and do what we have to do to get through this. And part of that is probably stay in these buildings. And yeah, I agree with you, Joanne. I'm not happy about some of our decisions, but we made the best decisions with the information we had and what the economy was progressing, and so we're here.
Agreed.
okay.
But that's why I'm just asking, though, if there wasn't another option that we should be looking at, but only having a month left doesn't give us a whole lot of time to even
Well,
discuss it.
didn't you say that you had looked at some other properties during the?
We had done that, sir, with relation to the library. The temporary location of the library in Suite 185 of the Goodyear Financial
But
Center.
nothing relative to the,
Not for the wholesale relocation of city services located in the Veneta Business Complex. We didn't do that with the idea of relocating those entire series of functions.
And I think the other thing is the renovations. I mean, you have to realize, if we change buildings, we're not just going to change buildings, we're going to have to renovate the building to meet our needs. And so you have to put that in play when you're talking about what would be the best financially for us to,
Well, and that's why I
decisions to
mentioned
make.
the TIs already that are into here,
Yeah.
but.
So,
But if we did do it for 4 years, could we get a reduction in the rent?
This
this is
number
before.
does
It is.
carry a reduction in the rent as well as the
5 years
escalation.
or 6 years.
Would
Okay, if we
that
add
make a
more,
difference?
Would it make a difference? So we're trying to save money here. And, is that a possibility?
We had actually looked at terms of 3, 4, and 5 year increments for the lease extensions, and as the term extended, that number did change. That number did. I don't remember the number off the top of my head, but there was an additional savings for that longer term.
John,
Well-
what's your opinion on 5?
I personally think that 5 years makes more sense than 4 years because I don't see our assessed value changing, and I don't see our ability to borrow money for city center changing that much in 4 years.
What if we did it for an additional year? Could we negotiate a clause out
We could,
somehow?
we can certainly entertain,
all
we
we
can
can say
entertain
is
that with the
no.
owner.
4 with maybe an option?
Yeah, with an option. And if we could get it reduced even more, that would be to our benefit. I think.
Let us bring this back to you
All
next
right.
meeting.
all right, appreciate that.
table this then?
Now, so how do you want to handle this on G?
Just table it till next meeting.
All right. So do we need to vote on tabling that, or?
No, you just table it and take a vote on the other matters.
Oh, Mr. Cornwell,
I think it's a good idea.
we may have an answer. Please.
I don't think we should
I-
do this here.
No, I don't.
No, I don't,
No,
I'm sorry,
this-
can you, what is, I'm sorry, gentlemen?
This is Mr. Cornwell, the owner of the property.
Oh, I should have recognized you, Mr. Cornwell, I'm sorry. Is this something we should be doing, just let me check with this legally, that,
It's
that,
on the agenda, you already discussed the matter.
But we just said we're gonna table it.
You haven't done that yet. I mean, we can, you don't have to allow him to speak.
I'm sorry, tell me that once
You don't
more?
have to allow him to speak, you can table the matter till next time.
All right, so table it, and then if Mr. Cornwell would like to come back at the next meeting, is that what you're saying, and speak to this issue?
If you'd like.
Well, that's what I'm,
Council's decision.
Well, we haven't officially tabled it yet, have we?
You have not.
okay, I'm going, listen, that's me, let me hear from you, the council, what do you want to do about this? Do you want to hear Mr. Cornwell, or do you want to? Legally, as long as we're within our rights of the meeting.
Sure, it's an agenda item. If you'd like to let him speak, certainly that's.
All right, well, you're all right. Please, Mr. Cornwell.
Maybe he has some alternative.
Maybe you have some surprise for us.
He's heard your position.
Yeah, right, right.
Sitting back there listening. Eric Cornwell of Cornwell Corporation in Scottsdale. We had provided a matrix to the city that showed a 3, 4, and 5-year lease option based on, and that was really based on the city center concept that you guys discussed. If the option is to go longer, I mean, that's obviously to my benefit, that's up for negotiation, but I don't see a problem with, you guys are my tenants, so I'm not gonna, ram you into the wall. Let me just give a little background as to the buildings. This building is a little different because we do have specific TIs in it, so this building isn't related to these options. The other two are the one that are on discussion. Yeah.
It's a TI.
Tenant improvement, it's like the walls and air conditioning and things like that. So for you guys to extend the lease one more year, obviously there'd be consideration from my part. I would ask you to, just because we've been going through this process for so long, to hopefully approve this and then just open renegotiations with us. I'm more than willing to open negotiations on purchasing the project. That's fine too, but it's really just however you guys want to go and discuss it. Because if you want to go longer term, that's fine.
I'm getting the impression that you appreciate the partnership between the city and your company.
Oh, very much so. I mean,
Yes.
I see a lot of friendly faces in the room.
Mayor, may I ask
Yes.
a question? Since you're here, can you explain why we pay a lease for parking?
The building, the Veneta development was constructed with a certain parking ratio, and when the city leased, specifically Buildings D&E from me, the requirement was much greater than the parking ratio that I had developed. So what we did is we created the extra parking to provide the parking for your need. And the lease is just, really the amortization of the cost of that extra parking. Because it wasn't something that I was going to put in. This is, it went over and above really an office parking requirement.
The only question I have is, could staff bring back, I mean, when he's looking at now or later, as far as moving forward in this, could staff, work this out and bring it back within the time that you need this thing to be and I'm getting the nod from the attorney that the answer to that is yes, right?
I think so.
We have 2 more meetings before May. And I don't know what date.
So what I'm hearing is that's probably not going to create a problem if it's tabled and you guys get together and we bring back and we lock 5 because we got enough time.
Yeah, my recommendation is if you're not comfortable with the lease proposal tonight, don't approve and then come back and renegotiate. Let us go out and renegotiate and present different options to the council.
All right, so do I need to take a vote on the tabling it, or? Pardon me?
You can take a vote to table if you'd like.
Just an aye, nay, or
Yes.
all in favor of tabling item G?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Do I hear a motion for items A through F?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
I think the first motion was made by Councilman Souza, second by Councilman Bacello. Bacello's the other one. All in favor, say aye. Roll call vote.
Councilmember Souza,
Aye.
Councilmember Osborne,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Patillo,
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano,
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell.
Aye.
Mayor Lord.
Aye.
Passes 6-0.
All right, now we're at the comments, and let me see. Ask council and the mayor for current events. Let's hear what you've been doing this week. You may start.
Okay, we attended the symphony. I know saw several of you there up at Estrella with the West Valley Arts Council. It was good to have it back up in Estrella. It was just absolutely wonderful. Attended the opening of the Goodyear Little League, which I have a vested interest in since I have an 8-year-old playing, and the mayor did a fantastic job throwing out the first pitch.
Was it a curveball, splitter?
It was a fastball.
It was kind of in the base, really.
And then some of the schools, with all the budget cuts, have been having open house for community. And even if you don't have kids, I would suggest you go to some of these open houses to see how they're going to change some of these local schools. Several up in Estrella had them. And there's a lot of programs and a lot of innovation that they're trying, considering there's a lot of budget cuts. So I think that's very important.
Anybody else? Joanne?
Oh, me, sir. I attended the GPEC board meeting. Myself and Mayor Ward attended the state LRTP transportation workshop, and there was a major focus on rail for the future, 25, 50-year plan. I did attend the opening day of the food bank here in Goodyear. Hopefully we can get the word out and people will be able to donate towards that food bank. And a few of us attended the nice ribbon cutting for the Homeless Youth Connection Spring Carnival at Skyway Church. The weather wasn't very cooperative there at the beginning, but Sunday was beautiful. And I do want to thank the Goodyear Fire Union for their golf tournament that they put on for the Homeless Youth Connection, and I believe they raised $10,000 to $12,000 for them. Yeah, very good. So now I have a couple of props to give. In other words, kudos. First of all, I would like to truly thank the finance staff and Mr. Fishbach. I know that the earlier work session showed a definite good change for the future of Goodyear with everything that's going forward is very positive, and I'm excited about the change in our sales tax, and I'm excited about the discussion we'll be having about our business liaison. I mean, a lot of good things. I'm really happy with everything that's going on. But I also like to thank Westcor and the Arizona Commission for the Arts for having Shakespeare in the park, at Bullard Park. I was thrilled using that beautiful area up there. I'd like to give some props to Lynn Mulhall and the entire city clerk team, because this last, 6 to 9 months with this entire election fun time they've been having, they've done an absolute wonderful job and very professional, and I just want you to pass that on, Lynn. And lastly, I'd like to thank the street crews for putting those little markers going up Estrella Road. I think that's very nicely done. Thank you.
Joanne, I think we'll all say ditto to all those
Okay.
comments. We
All right.
really appreciate the same.
Okay. I, too, attended the Goodyear Little League opening day on April 2nd. I attended the hot coffee with the photographer Joe Trevino, and Diane Kripe, our art specialist, did a wonderful job narrating the photos because Joe did not show. I attended the spring concert series in our beautiful community park, and I enjoyed the DEM band. They played a little metal rock that I didn't quite recognize, but I thought it was a lot of fun.
I could have helped you there.
Thank you, Joe. On the 29th, I attended the Cincinnati Reds and Cleveland Indians last game of the year, and that was a lot of fun. I attended the Centennial Committee meeting and prime time sponsored by the Southwest Valley Chamber. I also went on the employee orientation and tour in Goodyear, and that was very interesting. And I went to the Phoenix Symphony last night at Estrella, and it was wonderful. And I've been busy.
Anybody else? Well, I'm not going to repeat all of these because the meeting's getting on, and I attended a lot of things this week, but I want to say, is Dean Kokenauer here? Did he leave?
He left.
Oh, I'm sorry to say that. He received an award, Safe Employer of the Month, for April, and we were both invited to the Phoenix Sun game, where we were presented the award in the center, of the basketball court. So it was really nice. There is one thing that might be interesting to you. There's going to be a new magazine that's going to be like Up the Hill in Australia. Well, it's going to be at Pebble Creek, and I've been asked to do an article in this magazine, and so I think it'll be a really a good outlet for us to get information to the Pebble Creek area. So I'm looking forward to it, and we'll probably come to all of you to ask your advice and things that you think that we ought to be putting in these articles. So let me see if there's anything else. You all mentioned just about everything, and so I won't go into it, except we did have an opening of Pet's Place on Australia Parkway. I encourage you all to go out there. It's not a small pet store. It's 8,000 square feet of space. And so when you get a chance, please drop by and say hello to the husband-wife ownership. I have some issues a little bit that I'd like to take up with our community planning to try to help local businesses. And I think you and I probably need to meet on that.
I just saw on my BlackBerry, we have some answers for you in the morning.
Oh, you do already? How quick. I haven't told you what it was about, and I already
Yes, you
know.
did.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that's really great. And I just want to say how great the Phoenix Symphony concert was last night. It was wonderful, and as I said, it was like the John Denver song, "It's good to be back home again," because it truly was. It's exactly where that needs to be. I love our stadium, but it is not quite the venue to have a concert. And so it was well done. The people that sat on the hill in that cold, cold weather. And so we need an extra thanks to go out to the West Valley Arts Council, to APS, to Newland, and of course to the city of Goodyear for supporting this.
And the Arizona Republic.
And thank you very much. That would be in the paper tomorrow, wouldn't it? Yes, to the Arizona Republic. We really, really, really appreciate it. So I think, John, do you have anything for us?
The only thing I want to point out is the yellow paper that's included in your packets about the I-10 rubberized asphalt paving schedule. There's going to be some major changes to I-10 on and off ramps and to the number of lanes going west and east over the next 4 weeks. But we're finally putting the rubberized asphalt down, and it's going to be totally done by the mid-May.
Wow. You know, Mr. Faircraft, there was one thing I didn't mention in the meeting, and I don't know if this is the proper time to do it, so lawyer, just tell me no, cut it off, it's not supposed to be. But I had engaged in a conversation about the possibility of looking into how we can start the infrastructure for the airport gateway up Bullard, and I think Councilwoman Loretano, you had mentioned your interest in developing that. And so I talked about the possibility of using our one-time monies. We talked about what we're going to do with the funds, to certain funds that you could give us an estimate or how we would go about starting the development of some type of infrastructure to bring in companies and industry to that area.
Certainly we can in the future. We have to do some calculations.
Right, I knew that.
But that will be an item discussed as we go on tonight. So.
Okay, all right. Oh, good. All right, thank you very much. Okay. Yes, did you? No, go ahead.
You have, well, are you asking information?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, Dora. Go ahead.
From staff?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, this is a very touchy situation that we've encountered with the police department. You know, it's been very critical and very eye-opening and everything that's been discussed. I have no reason to believe that any other department is having any other issues. But I would like to feel reassured by my city manager that you feel confident in your other departments and your other, that proper policies and procedures are put into place. We had that matrix study done a few years ago, and quite frankly, they should have outlined some of these things that obviously weren't occurring. So just for as we get through this situation with the police, as you're going through other departments, can you reassure us that everything's going well?
Councilmember Osborne, Madam Mayor, yes, I can. I mean, we've done various audit studies, management studies in various departments, and because of necessity, and have made some changes over the past 3 years that I'm very familiar with, and those have all worked out extremely well, and the policies and procedures that are being followed right now are going very well, very good. You and I had talked briefly, and I think that what we will do, and I will assure you that we will take a look at other departments, take one at a time and start looking at them just to make sure that all policies and procedures are being done in the correct way. It was a disappointment to all of us what happened, and we're very fortunate and very pleased that Commander Kusan took over as the acting chief of police, and the department is very confident in his abilities to lead them. And so right now we're great in the police department. We are looking at what needs to be corrected in the police department, and some changes will be made in the very near future. And we will take a look at some of the other departments specifically in the near future. We will be looking at one of them, and I assure you that that type of thing is not happening in other departments.
Well, and like I said, I didn't really have any reason to believe that, but some of the issues that have occurred in Goodyear has been a small city that has grown fast and departments that have grown fast, and just that reassurance I appreciate. Thank
Certainly,
you.
thank you.
We'll finish? No,
Just real quick. We had talked a while back on a sign ordinance, for cars, painted cars, and that was going to come back. We were going to retweak that, so, cars with the advertising. Where's that at right now?
It will be back next, excuse me, it will be back next month.
Okay. Thank you.
So I'm going to add to this. There was another concern I had about signage, and I have not had the time to talk to you in community development, but I would like that opportunity before you bring this back, because it's something very similar that we might be able to discuss at
And
the
that's
same
about
time.
Pet Place.
Yes, at
Yeah,
Pet
we did
Pet's
talk
Place.
about that, and that's the information I referred to.
Oh,
I will
okay.
give you a report on it
Okay.
tomorrow.
All right,
So,
All right. Anybody else want to talk before I adjourn this meeting, and we'll reconvene the work session?
can we have a 5-minute break, please?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Yes, 5 minutes.
Thank you.